Hi, this is Sarah Lingra, and welcome to your first piano lesson with me using piano key finders. This is an experiment, so we'll see how it goes. It is for my students who are a constant source of information, and it is for teachers who want to learn and see how I use piano key finders in a lesson. This is basically going to be a lesson where I'm assuming that you are following along with me. Okay, before we get started, I am so delighted that you're here. I'm so delighted that you're seeing this. Keep in mind that what you are doing now is useful for today and tomorrow, but I'm playing the long game and I'm hoping that you're still going to be playing in 20 years. Sometimes the language might be confusing. You won't understand everything at first. Feel free to pause the video or come back to the video and listen to it later. Learning could be awkward in the beginning. I've done this a gajillion years, so it seems easy for me, but sometimes in the beginning it might be a little harder for you. Your expectations are going to be higher than your experience initially. So you're going to think that it's going to be, I should be playing like this, and you're actually down here. Be patient with yourself. Over time, that'll correct. We're going to have fun. This is really fun. So as I said, I'm assuming that you are learning alongside of me. So I'm going to do exactly with you what I do with all of the people who come into my studio. And this is how I start all of my first lessons. Now, though I don't tell them where they can find the materials because I already have them. So what you're going to need for this is the key finder keeper. And the reason why I use this, it keeps all of our little materials really nice. On the back of it is the circle of fifths that I reference in every single lesson. So that's going to be up on the piano. Inside there, and there's a link in the description to where you can find the materials. There's a key name card. So if you are a rank beginner and have never had piano lessons before, this is invaluable because it will tell you all the names of the keys, so you don't have to hunt and peck. Then there is a, what you're going to need today is a 5-note major scale card, which is right here. And then we're going to be using the wait a minute. Oh, those are two of the same. We're going to be using the yellow, blue, red card. And we're not even going to be using all 3 chords on this card. We're just going to be using the bottom 2. Now, before we even get using the cards, the first thing that I do in all of my lessons is I have my students sit next to me. So you can pretend that you're sitting next to me. And I play a pattern for a few minutes and you make up stuff as it goes along. Now, I'm going to be trying that here. It could be great or it could be a disaster. If it's not good, then when I do this in the future, I will not include this segment, but I think it's worthwhile to try it here. So what I do is I play a pattern on the left hand or the lower side of the piano, and I play it repeatedly, and I tell my students to make stuff up. And the rule that they have is to make it up using all of the notes, the black keys, okay? So we don't even need to name the keys right now. We're just gonna have you sit and make up stuff using the black keys. And I'm gonna use a timer so I know how long I'm gonna be going. But for the next few minutes, all I'm gonna be doing is playing a pattern on the left hand while you are over here on the right hand side making stuff up. So if you are doing this and watching this in front of a piano, I suggest that you play along with me. Listen to what I'm doing, and then anything that you do on black keys is going to sound good. Okay. So setting the timer so that I know when to stop. And I'm going to play this consistently for the next 4 or 5 minutes. So you just played and made up stuff for 5 minutes. If you're like my other students, you probably were a little awkward in the beginning and then you started doing different things. And I suggest that you come back to this and then play along with that at some point in the future. Remember, the rule is anything goes on black keys, though if you want to get crazy, you could add an F or a B, and that's going to also work. And all of my students are going to be, are learning how to do this stuff on the bass so that they can play with their friends and family using the same rules. Okay, so that's the beginning of the lesson. Now, since this is your first time with me and you've never had lessons before, we're going to go into what the next step is. Okay, so if you've never had lessons before and you don't know the names of anything on the piano, then I suggest that you use this. This is called the key name card. And what it does is it shows you all of the names of the keys on the piano. And you can see that this thing right here has groups of 2 black keys and groups of 3 black keys. And so what you do is you're going to line it around the C and the B that are closest to the middle of the piano. And so for here, that's this key right here, and I'm going to slide it over here. And if you're on a grand piano, sometimes these cards have a tendency to flop forward. And because of that, I use sticky notes to keep them in place. Okay, so this one's a clear sticky note, and I'm just going to stick it there. Okay, not the prettiest thing, but it's really effective. And you can see that the black keys are lining up with the black keys, and the groups of 2 black keys and 3 black keys are like this. Okay, so then the next thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be going around the circle of fifths, and we're going to start here at the top on C, okay? And so when I talk about starting on a key, and we're going to start with the major 5-note scale. Okay, and we're going to be doing this with the right hand because you're going to be playing a lot of melodies using your right hands, and understanding 5-note scales in all the keys is really helpful. So I'm going to do this with you, and I'm going to show you what I do. Now, because I'm only using one hand at a time, I'm going to be holding this with my left hand in place rather than using a sticky note and playing it with my right hand. And you'll notice on the card there is a right hand red and blue for bass. The fingering, your thumb is number 1, pointer is number 2, middle finger is number 3, ring finger is number 4, and your pinky is number 5. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the numbers in red are applying to the fingers of your right hand. So all you need to do is line up the yellow arrow with the key that we're going to be doing, and we're going to start on C, and we're going to play the 5-note scale from C. So here I have it on C, holding it in place with my left hand because I don't want to bother with the sticky note right now, and I'm just going to go up to the 5 notes of the scale and back down. And the way this works is, you can't see it, well, you can kind of see it. There's notes on the card, and you're going to play the key that's directly underneath the note. So it sounds like this. Okay, so why don't you do that with me? 1, 2, ready, go. Now I'm going to go to the next on the circle of fifths, which in this case is G. So I'm going to remove the right arrow. Instead of playing the C, I'm going to go to the G key, and I'm going to slide this down so the yellow arrow is there. 1, 2, ready, go. So that was G major. One more time. 1, 2, ready, go. Then I'm going to take the arrow and I'm going to go to D major, which is the next one around the circle. So I'm going to put it over here. Now, it doesn't matter if you do this D or this D or this D anywhere on the piano. At this point, that's not important. So now I've got my arrow up here. And, oh, interesting. The 3rd note of this little scale is on a black key. So instead of playing a white key, I'm going to be playing a black key. This is D major. So 1, 2, ready, go. Then we're going to move the arrow. Since I was on D, I'm going to move it to A. So we're going to play A major. Over here. 1, 2, ready, go. After A major, I'm going to look up here, and after A comes E. So I'm going to pick up the arrow. Again, I can do this E or that E or this one. This one's the closest to my hand, so that's in the center of the piano, so I think I'm going to stick there. Oh, and look, instead of having one black key in this, it looks like I've got two here. So when you're playing things that have black keys, it makes sense to push your hand deeper into the keys so that you don't have weird elbow and shoulder motions going up. So you're going to place your thumb on the E key, and you can always check with the key name card, E key. 1, 2, ready, go. One more time. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, so the next one that I'm going to is B. I have a choice of this B down here or this B up here. I think I'm going to go to this one. So my thumb is on B. Oh, and there's 3 black keys on this one. So again, you can see that if I push my hand a little deeper so that my thumb is closer to the black and the white keys, then the rest of the fingers of my hand are going to be closer to the black keys. If I'm over here, when it comes to getting up here, you can see that my elbow is moving out toward it. So here's B. 1, 2, ready, go. One more time. 1, 2, ready, go. All right, now, so I've started at C, and I did C, G, D, A, E, B. Now, all of these are colored wedges. Now, the next one is F sharp or G flat, and it's a black wedge. And the reason it's black is because it indicates a black key on the piano. So already I know I'm going to be looking for one of the notes in the black keys, and F sharp and G flat happen to be the same key, and that's this one right here. So I'm going to line up the yellow arrow with the F sharp key, and 4 of the 5 keys that we're playing in the key of F sharp major are black keys. So it doesn't make sense to have my thumb hanging off the edge of the piano. I need to push my whole hand in order to be able to get that. 1, 2, ready, go. One more time. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, so after F sharp is now either C sharp or D flat. They're called enharmonic spellings because it's 2 names of two names for the same note. And in this case, it's the C sharp D flat key, which is right here. So I'm going to take the yellow arrow on the card and I'm going to put it over the C sharp. And this is another one that has 4 of the 5 keys being black keys. So, and the one that I'm starting on is a black key. So I have to have my hand deeper in the keys in order to be able to do that. And then if my thumb is up here, then everything else is there as well. 1, 2, ready, go. One more time. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay. After C sharp, D flat, I'm now on the A flat key. A flat, again, it's a black wedge on the circle, so it's going to be a black key on the piano, and that happens to be the middle black key of the group of 3. I'm going to put the yellow arrow here, and I'm going to hold it in place with my left hand, and I'm going to play it. Again, it's another one that has, in the 5-note scale, 4 of the 5 are black keys. It's going to feel very similar to what you just did on D flat. 1, 2, ready, go. One more time. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, so then after A flat going, we're almost done actually, because after A flat, there's only 3 more until we get to the top. So E flat, again, it's a black key here, so I'm going to line up the yellow arrow with E flat. 1, 2, ready, go. One more time. Okay, and then B flat. So I think I'm going to use this B. Yeah, I think I'll use this B flat. So this is a B flat key and that's a B flat key, and I'm going to do the lower one. I'm going to put the yellow arrow on B flat. 1, 2, ready, go. One more time. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, and then the last one is F major, and F is a white key because it's a colored wedge here, and F major is right here. So I'm going to put it over here. I do have a black key that my fourth finger is going to be playing, so I'm going to have my hand resting kind of a little deeper in the keys. 1, 2, ready, go. 1. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, so if you were going along with me, you just played the 5-note scale for the right hand in all 12 keys all the way around the circle, which is really cool because you just transpose that scale into all 12 major keys. Now, if you were sitting next to me in the lesson, sometimes I would have you move the card yourself. Obviously, I can't do that for you here. And sometimes I would move it if I had a shorter lesson, like in half an hour. Okay, so that's right hand. Okay, so now we're going to do something with the left hand. Now you could, when you're at home, you could do the same thing when you go back to this, and you could play this both in the right hand and the left hand. We're not going to do that today for this because I want to move on to the next thing. So the next thing is using the yellow, blue, red card. It's called the major cadence. You can see that up here. And the only thing that you need to do to remember when you're starting with this is, first of all, we're only going to do the bottom 2 chords. So we're going to start on the yellow chord, and then we're going to move it up to the blue. Okay, so yellow chord up to the blue. You don't need to know anything about what the numbers inside of these things mean. That'll come. We'll get to that later. And you just need to be paying attention to where these notes are here on the card and playing the keys underneath the notes. Now you can see that the yellow line connects those 3 notes on the bottom, and it connects the blue line connects the 3 notes on the blue chord. And so that means that you're going to be playing them all together. Okay. And it's going to work the same way. Namely, we're going to put the yellow arrow on the key that we're talking about, going around the circle of fifths. And then we're going to play the chords using the left hand in this case, because often when you're playing, you're going to be playing with your left hand chords and your right hand is going to be playing melodies. Now, fingering wise, your hands are opposable, right? So thumbs are always number 1. These guys are number 2. Middle fingers are number 3. Ring fingers are number 4. And pinkies are number 5. Okay, so thumbs are 1. Pointers are number 2. Middle fingers number 3. Ring fingers number 4, and pinkies are number 5. Now, for our left hand, you're going to be using your thumb, your middle finger, and your pinky for the yellow chord. And then you're going to use your thumb, your second finger, your pointer, and the pinky for the blue chord. When we do this going around the circle, every time we play in a different key, you're going to use the same combination of fingers. So you're going to use the 5, 3, 1 for your yellow chord, and you're going to use the 5, 2, 1 for the blue chord. Okay, and we're going to oscillate between yellow and blue. Now, the music that comes is called 1 and 4, and that's because it's the chord based on the first note and the fourth note of the scale, and they're often referred to as 1-4 chord progressions. We're ignoring the 5, so you don't have to worry about the red one yet. And you'll notice that your pinky is not moving. So when you go from yellow to blue, your 5th finger is going to stay in place, and it's these 2 that are moving. Okay, So let's see, if I put it here, I'm going to keep this hand out of the way so that you can see it. I'm going to do it here. Actually, maybe that's a little bit better. When you're at home, you're probably going to have these things down here, but from this camera angle, if I put it up here, you're going to have a better view. And so these ones I am going to hold in place using the sticky note, and I'm going to start with the yellow arrow pointing to the C key. So you can see here's the C, and I'm going to slide the yellow arrow down onto the C key, and then I'm going to hold this in place this way. We don't need the red chord, so it's okay. So here you can see thumb is on the top note of the yellow, middle finger is on the middle note of the yellow chord, and my pinky is on the chord there. So obviously when I do this in the future, I'm going to have a better way of showing where my fingers are, but trust me, I'm using my thumb, my third finger, and my pinky. So the movement here is going from yellow, and then see, I'm going to drop this one down here on the blue chord and back to yellow. Okay. So I'm going to hold this for 2 counts each. So when I count 1, 2, ready, go, you'll know when to start. This is C major going from C major to F major. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to do that again. And this is the pattern that we're going to use going all the way around the circle. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now I'm going to move it to the next one. So we started on C major, now we're going to G major. So I'm going to line that yellow arrow up with the G key. So here's the G key on the piano, and we're sliding this down here. Okay. See, this is when I start getting really excited, because when you start being able to do this, you might not appreciate how cool it is to be able to play in all 12 keys on that first lesson, but oh my gosh, I've been teaching for 30 years and I still can't get over how cool this is. All right, so here we go. We're going to go from the yellow chord to the blue chord and back and forth. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going from G major to C major. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's G major. So the next one, I went from G, so I'm going to go to D. I think I'll move it here again to make it a little easier for you to see, but when you're playing this on the piano, do it anywhere. So D major, oh, D major has a black key in here. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So going from the D chord to the G chord. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so after D major, we have A major. Oh, this one has a black key. Oh, you're going to have to be really careful, because this one right here is also lining up with a black key. So if I know that my thumb is going to have to be on a black key here, I'm not going to be playing over here. I'm going to push my arm closer. This part of the piano right here is called the fall board. So when you have keys that are black, you're going to need to push your arm in to get to the fall board. And you notice it's a smooth motion going in. If I don't push my arm in to get there, then I do this weird elbow shifting motion, which is uncomfortable and not very efficient. Okay, so we're going to go from A major to D major, yellow to blue. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll notice I had a miss. I was not close enough to the black key to play it beautifully. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, Okay, now we're going to do E major. So I'm going to slide it over here. And this one I have going from E major to A major. So I've got black keys in both chords. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Next is B major. You know, one thing that's really cool about this is all of my students who've been doing this with me long enough have decided or have started developing preferences for certain keys. Like they like the sound of B major or E flat minor or C major or A major, but they all have, everybody's developing preferences, but they're not always the same for each person, which is just really interesting to me. Okay, so B major here, yellow arrow is on B. And then it's got 2 black keys in here. Again, the fingering is exactly the same. So I'm going to be using my thumb, my middle finger, and my pinky for the yellow chord. And then I'm going to be using my thumb, my pointer, and my 5th finger for the blue chord. It's really important to get your fingering correct and consistent because you want to train your muscles to do this automatically. And so that consistency is super important for that automaticity when you get playing things in the future. Okay, so B major. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's B major. All right, so the next one is down here at the bottom of the circle. It's F sharp, G flat. So it's a black key chord. And here we are, F sharp, G flat. Ooh, F sharp, G flat is 3 black keys. In fact, this is one of the chords that I was playing in that introductory thing where you were making stuff up as I was playing pattern. So this is, I tend to think of this chord more as a G flat major than an F sharp major, but it's the same chord. And then my second finger is going to drop right next to that black key and play the B chord. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The next chord is going to be D flat or C sharp. I'll get crazy, go low. So again, this is one of those chords that I played in that opening improv part for you. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was D flat major. Now we're going to move it up to A flat major here. A flat major, the A flat major chord and the D flat major chord feel very similar because they have 2 black keys on the outside and a white key in the middle. And your white key is bumping up on the right-hand side against a black key. So I'm going from A flat major to D flat major. This is really a comfortable chord to play in the hand, which is why this is so nice, because when you go around the circle of fifths, you're going to find that the ones that might be hard to read are actually easier to play. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, after A flat is E flat. I'm going to slide this over to E flat. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, E flat. So this is going from E flat major to A flat. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. After E flat, we're going to do B flat. So I'm sliding this up here to the B flat key. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You might notice too, and keep in mind I've been doing this for a lot of years, that my hand's pretty quiet. I'm not moving much except for my thumb between here because my fingers are already resting on the other keys that they need to be. I find that it's actually easier and more comfortable to do the 1-4 chord combination in the left hand and in the right. The right hand fingering is slightly different than this, but it's easy to remember. We'll tackle that later on in the series. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to move this down to F. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you just played all of the 1-4 chord progressions in every single key around the circle of fifths. It's that simple. Now, it might have been more of a struggle. You might need to come back to this and get your hands doing this. But I tell you, learning this, you will find these chord patterns in pretty much every piece you will ever play from this point on, because they are just that common. And they span from the Baroque era to the classical, contemporary, romantic, impressionist, jazz. These are just basic chords that you will need for everything. And being able to play them in all 12 keys is totally freeing. Now, I think I'm going to adjust the camera a tiny bit because I want to have a better angle for me for this next part. So this is the last part of the lesson. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing this thing called the 1-4 chord progression. And we're going to not do the whole thing yet. We're just going to do this first part on each page. Now, this right here, you'll notice on the sheet, the chords are, it's hard to see, but yellow and blue, and that yellow and blue corresponds with the yellow and blue chord here. So when we're on C and you put the yellow arrow on a C, that is what that chord shape looks like in your music. And then the blue chord, that's what that shape looks like. And so this right here is what the music looks like when you see it. Now, it also happens that the color coding of the notes themselves corresponds to the color coding on the key name card. So there's a thing called fixed do and movable do, which I won't get into, but the notes in the music would be considered fixed do, and the chord names up here are movable because the notes here are fixed, but this card slides. Now, we're only going to be doing this, and this rhythm is a little different, okay? So the kind of note here that you see is a dotted quarter note, and then we have an eighth note tied to a half note. This is your first lesson. I don't expect you to know anything about what I just said. However, if you're curious and want to look a little bit more, on the inside of the folder here, there is a reference for all of the different kinds of notes that you're going to be seeing what we're doing. So we have whole notes, dotted half notes, and quarter notes, and then this gives how they would be counted, which is what you're hearing. When we did that chord progression thing, I was using half notes and a whole note. Again, that will be coming later, but it doesn't hurt to have you seeing the music that we're going to be playing as you're doing this. Now, the way that we set this up is we're going to be using the 5-note scale card for your right hand, and we're only, for right now, going to be using the first 2 notes here. So you'll see that we have a 1 and a 2 over here, and that 1 and 2 is going to be what your thumb and your second finger are going to be playing for your right hand. And then over here, we're still going to be only using the yellow and blue chords. The way that I do this on this piano, now if you have an electric piano, it seems like electric pianos, you don't need to have the sticky note to hold the cards in place. But I'm going to line up the yellow arrow on the 5-note scale card here, holding it in place with a sticky note. And then I'm going to have this one sliding behind it, and I'm going to line up the yellow arrow over here. Okay? So I'm playing my thumb on the number 1 here, where the yellow arrow is. I'm playing the yellow chord. And I'm going to be moving from the yellow chord to the blue chord at the same time I'm going from my thumb to the second finger over here. Okay? So let's just have you moving from the 1 to the 4, 1, 4. Okay, now the rhythm here, I'm going to count it out loud so that you can hear the counting, which is going to be a little annoying when you're overwhelmed with trying to get your hand in the right place and you're trying to keep up with the rhythm and everything, but it actually is helpful for getting it right. And this rhythm, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So why don't you join me with the clapping first? Okay, I'm going to do this, I don't know, maybe 10 times in a row. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that same rhythm using those chords, and we're going to start like we did everything else in the key of C major. Okay? And what's great about this is it sounds good. And for right now, it's only these first 2 bars right here. Okay, we're not going to do the whole thing yet. I'll do that next time because the rhythm is a little more complicated. And right now, this is going to sound pretty darn good. Okay, here we go. So right hand on C and D, the first 2 notes, and then I'm going from the yellow to blue. Okay. And the reason I say 1, 2, ready, go, or whatever I do in the beginning is so that you know how to start at the same time that I do. If I forget, it's not on purpose. If I don't say it, it's because I've forgotten. It's not that I meant to leave it out. Okay, so you'll see my hands are pretty calm and relaxed over here, and I'm going from yellow to blue. So 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So I'm just ending on the yellow chord. Okay, so you can hear 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And I'll do that one more time. And I will keep it up for a little bit so that you can join me. This is C major going from C major to F. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that last time I did it 8 times. Okay, 8 is a very common way of doing this in music. So the next one, going around the circle of fists, again using this use this all the time. So I'm going from C, and now I'm going to put the yellow arrows on G. So yellow arrow on G over here, yellow arrow on G. And so now I'm just transposing that same pattern over to the key of G major. And so I'm going from a G chord to a C chord. And on this 1/4 sheet, which will be up on the blog, this is how this would look notated. And you don't have to understand any of the stuff in here. That'll come later. The more important thing is to be able to play along with this and get this muscle memory stuff going at the same time. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so my playing just the first 2 notes of the 5-note scale, and you've already done all 5 notes, so this is a little bit easier than the 5. And then going from the yellow to the blue to the yellow. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. I'm just ending on the G because that's how it sounds a little bit more finished. Okay, so I'm going to do that again. We're going to do it for 8 repetitions, just so that you get it in your hands. Remember, fingering is the same for all of these. So you're going to use your thumb, your middle finger, and your pinky for the left hand for the first chord, thumb, second finger, pinky for the second chord, and you're just using your 1 and 2 fingers in the right hand. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. All right. So after G, we're doing D. So the third one on the sheet. So moving the cards down. Now, in my experience with students, the cards are really useful in the beginning, and pretty soon you start remembering them and you use them less and less. However, you can use them as long as you need to. Piano doesn't care, and nobody who's listening needs to know that you're using cards. The thing that's really reassuring about them is that if you understand how these things work, you're always going to be playing the right things when you are at home. All right, so I'm going to be doing the first 2 notes of the D major scale. You'll also notice that they're skipping a key. So going from the first note to the second note of a scale, it's a whole step because you're missing a key in between the 2. All right, and then I'm going from D major to G major. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 4 and 1. Okay, again, D major. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1. Nice, huh? Now, those chords sound interesting. The first one is just a pure D major chord in this case, or a major triad. The second one, because it has an E in it, or has a 4th note, it changes the quality of the chord. So instead of it being a major triad, it's actually a major 6. And that 6 makes it interesting and makes you feel like you're playing something that's actually something from the beginning. Moving on, after D major, and we're going to hit the rest of them here. And once we get all the way through, then we'll kind of sum up what you did. Okay, so we're going to do A major. A major is here. And so here's the A key over here and the A key over here. So I'm lining up the A key and using the sticky note to hold it in place. And then I'm lining this up here. Okay. And I'm going from E major to D major, and the first two notes of the A major scale. And again, it's a whole step. I'm skipping that key. 1 and 2 and ready and go. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, that was 8 repetitions, I believe. We're going to do it again. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. A major. Now we're going to E major. I'm going to move the card so that the is on E and over here. E major to A major, and I'm playing the first two notes. And you'll notice that it's still a whole step. It feels a little different because you're going from a white key to a black key, but you're still skipping a key in between. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay. E major, one more time. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. All right. E major, woohoo! B major, and B major will mark the halfway mark. So, if you've stuck it out this long, the end is near. Okay, so B major, we're starting to use keys, play scales that have a few more black keys in them, which is so cool because, you get to do black keys from the very beginning, which is awesome. All right, so we're going to be doing with a B to a C sharp up here, which is a whole step because we're skipping a key, but again, you're going from a white key to a black key. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, B major to E major. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. All right. Halfway, woohoo! So after halfway, we're going to hit F sharp. So this is the first one that we're going to be doing on black keys in this order. And here we are. Okay, now, because I used all of the right key signatures on the sheet that you're looking at, we're on F sharp over here. F sharp and G flat are the same notes. They're just spelled differently. I'm not doing all 15 keys. I'm only doing 12. And you'll notice at the bottom 3 have enharmonic spellings, namely 2 names for the same notes. All of the key signatures are accurate in here. However, it doesn't really matter what the key signature is because you'll notice that the chord shapes on all of them are exactly the same. And so It's the rhythm, dotted quarter note with an eighth note tied to a half note is being repeated. And that rhythm over here is a repeated pattern over the whole thing. Now, there are so many pieces that use the same rhythmic pattern throughout consistently for minutes at a time. So being able to train yourself to be consistent all the way through is really helpful. Okay, so here we go on F sharp major. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, so F sharp major to B. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, so that is F sharp or G flat. So now we are going to be on C sharp or D flat, and I'm going to call this D flat. First two notes in the right hand are two black keys, and they are separated by a white key. And then you're going from D flat to G flat. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Okay, G flat, D flat to G flat one more time. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. All right, after D flat, we're going to hit A flat, lining up the yellow arrow with A flat and the yellow arrow with A flat. Again, the first A flat and D flat major have some very similar characteristics in the first 5 notes of the scale and the chords. And so from A flat to B flat, you're skipping the white key. So that's still a whole step, just like everything else has been. And then A flat to D flat. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay. Now we are going to be on E flat. All right, so E flat major, E flat, and this time when you go from E flat to F here, you are going from a black key to a white key. And again, when you're playing things that are on black keys, you're going to be deeper in the keys, namely closer to the fallboard, which is this thing. You're going from an E flat to an A flat chord over here, and you're going from the E flat to the F in the right hand. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 Okay, one more time. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 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 and 4 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. All right, you're almost there. So you've already gone around the circle once for the right hand 5-note scales, once for the left hand with the chord patterns, and you only have 2 more to get here for the hands together stuff. Imagine this is your first lesson. This is really super. You're doing a great job. So way to stick it out. And just 2 more, you can do this. You know you can do this, even though it's been a long session. Okay, so here we go. We're going from a B flat to a C. So you're skipping a key because it's a whole step. And then over here, B flat to E flat. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, off. All right, one more time on B flat, and then we're going to hit F. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 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 and 4 and 1. Okay, so now it is F major. And F major is here where I'm lining up the arrows with the F and the F key, starting with the major scale card over here. And then the chord card slipping behind here. There we go. And I'm playing the first 2 notes of the F scale, and you'll notice now it's still a whole step. But now we have the black key in between, and then we're going from F major to B flat. It's called a root position triad with a second inversion B flat chord. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. And one more time. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Woohoo! All right, I'll put this up so you can actually see me. So that was going all the way around the circle of fifths. So you started going around the circle of fifths using the 5-note scales. I'll just leave this in F. So you were doing, and then you practice this, and then we put it together for this pattern. The pattern is the rhythmic stuff that you need to be able to play on top of that. And so the second half of this 1-4 piece sounds like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And you can do this all the way around the circle of fifths, just like what we were doing. The next video, I will play that pattern for you. So keep in mind that you just covered a huge amount of information in a relatively short period of time. The way that I tell my students to practice this, I mean, you, because you're a student here, is to play around the circle of fifths, to do this with one hand, with one at one time, another hand with another. Since I recorded this as a lesson and went through all of the exercises and all the keys, you can play along with this. And I have similar sketches for minors and then for chords being played with the right hand with something else going on in the bass. It so happens that all of these things fit beautifully with these chord cards, and they make it really easy to be able to play it correctly, even if I'm not sitting there beside you. You don't have to play them in the middle octave on the piano. You can experiment with going up higher and lower. And if you play along with me in the video, I'm not there to tell you that you are off. You can listen and then make corrections. In the beginning, I will be counting out loud as you're playing because that helps internalize the pulse. And then another thing that's really great about this is that you get to do this with you're using a lot of fingers at the same time, and you're playing it in all keys, but we're using the same fingerings from one piece to the next, from one key to the next to the next. So you're not just getting the muscle memory for that one key. Every time you do it in all of the other keys, you're also building up the muscle memory too. So this was really great. I'm so thrilled that you were here. And I can't wait to share this because I know I have students who, after that first lesson, you're completely overwhelmed. You spent the whole lesson and you're probably pretty exhausted. And then you get home and you remember that you were getting things in the lesson and then you couldn't remember what you did. So now you can take this home and you can use it as kind of a training guide and a practice guide. So thank you very much for being here. This is Sarah Lingra with pianokeyfinders.com. You can find all of the materials on my website, pianokeyfinders.com, and I'm going to be posting this video up on the blog so that if you need to refer to it, it'll always be there. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Bye.